only their roster pool was a little bit wider. If only they could pivot onto lots of different things. But I feel like we've got two squads here where you could go in any which way direction for any which way of these players. Draft begins. Aegis/first off the table.
Yeah, Luminosity Gaming has been relying on this Aegis/ban in first pick position almost the entire event, so no surprise to see it there. Komaï Esport, I am really excited to see where they target some of these bans. Is it towards Slash? Is it towards Trainer? And right now, that will be a direct Slash ban with the Blissey.
They do not want that Bliss assistance. How many clutch moments have we seen with this roster in particular? Feels like a bit of a target ban, that one. Luminosity on the slow bro. Gekko Kami will be limited, and they certainly won't have Umbreon first pick. But Komaï Esport, interesting, taking Inteleon away from both Zante, but also the prying hands of Luminosity.
Yeah, what does this first pick position look like for Luminosity Gaming? It will in fact be the Urshifu, so likely giving the Umbreon, probably Umbreon Hoopa in a couple of these picks for Komaï Esport. That certainly looked amazing in day number 1. We haven't gotten the chance to see them get Hoopa in day number 2 due to it being banned against them so frequently in their round of 8.
EUIC straight out the gates, and Rami peeking the side up. No, we are indeed going to pivot onto that Umbreon. Gekko Kami, an absolute monster with this thing, but Luminosity Gaming undoubtedly will have counted for this. They themselves will take the Psyduck, well, undoubtedly going towards Slashcan on that particular occasion. As for this second pick, they will lock in the Miraidon for that backline pressure.
I'm not going to lie, I'm shocked to see Zante give up the Miraidon in favor of the Mewtwo Y. They've seen success with it, but it does feel like that Miraidon has been such a big game changer throughout our tournament so far this weekend. Would love to see the win rate stats on that Pokemon in particular. Next picks for Komaï Esport, at least one of these has to be one of your damage carries, and it will be Kranix going to be picking up the Zacian. They could switch around their Pokemon. They are well known to do that. We could still be looking at a Machamp final pick.
Yeah, Leorio does we do have a Comfey Zoroark. Oh, Leorio rolling it back! As I said earlier today, this young lad in 2024 I should say, to be fair, 2023 as well.
We're in
Loves
2025,
the
aren't we?
Zero Aura. I mean, listen, the Zero Aura, it doesn't matter what year you're going to pick it.
True.
We know that this guy is a demon. On this occasion, into this comp, I mean, does it even really matter, Zoinks, knowing what they can do?
I don't know. We're going to take a really quick peek at our top Pokemon by win rate on this weekend before we jump into this match. Urshifu, by far the titan of this game, but Miraidon not even making top 6 notably here. So maybe this Mewtwo Y pick actually a really intelligent choice. Thank you so much, production, for letting us take a look at that before we get into the match. A very exciting game 1, must I admit. A Zoroark Comfey from Overlord. I mean, honestly, the classic lineup of Pokemon that we are going to be seeing into a very interesting Zero Aura Zacian damage core.
And Otter's got to feel good. I mean, they've been doing a lot of traveling around the map on that support style Mew, something which they have pioneered to great effect. But when you can enable one of the greatest players of all time on one of their ace picks, and that is an opportunity you do not turn down. I actually want to play off what you're saying. I want to give a big shout out to everyone in the back, production, observing, stats. There's an incredible team back here, and if you're out there in the audience, please give them a round of applause and a cheer, because they have been truly exceptional all weekend. We love you guys. We love this game, and I'm sure we're going to love this series, Zoinks. Game 1, potentially of 5.
Luminosity Gaming going to be your purple team. Komaï Esport going to be holding it down for the orange, as we're going to have the Zacian and the Eldegoss into the top path. Very familiar, but it is a Zoroark Comfey going to be headed into the path, as Overlord is going to give Urshifu the chance to take first central.
Early stacks, slow smoke down. A couple of slashes, but the Comfey crown gets away. Got themselves a little bit of a heal to work with Kranix, and attempting to steal away the bunnies. Any extra EXP and Aeos energy, of course, crucially for this Pokemon will do. Boosts the attack slightly. They're actually not going to take it. Big level up here for Overlord onto 4, but they managed to get back to their base before Kranix can finish the deal. Has to get away themselves, actually.
Good play from Otter, detaching, trying to make sure any of those Eldegoss auto attacks were favoring them instead of the Zacian, so the slowing effect would be on that Comfey. Nice little technical play from your support. Esport. In the bottom path, this matchup is going to be a pretty slow-rolling one between this Mewtwo and Miraidon. We're going to have to wait for those big team fights to start popping off. With these Swablu Altaria spawning in, Miraidon in pole position as Gek takes some space.
Mewtwo has Mega Evolved. That's a lot of damage eaten by Slash Can. The headache pops and Miraidon moves into a prime position with that Electro Drift, trying to find that KO, gets the big old charge up. Doesn't matter, there's the boosted auto and back to the regular Mewtwo. Why they go?
Mewtwo giving itself a little bit of self-shielding with some of its moves, able to survive that attack from Kyrios. Kyrios also able to walk away from it, but not going to be the same for Psyduck, as Slash is going to fall, and Zante going to take the first knockout of our game.
Feels all right for Komaï so far. They haven't had many major losses. They've played it relatively safe, I would say. I'd rather that as they look to work their way into this series. Certainly with that Zero Aura, we're looking to see those sorts of levels balloon. Level 6 right now. 5's popped for the front line on these first set of birds. That's the Sacred Sword going down. Kranix with a lot of joy and a little pop there onto the Miraidon. Free KO, but now what about the disengage? Discharge, look at how it shreds through those health bars into the mean-looking Shifu will be taken down as well.
Incredible job from honestly the entire roster of Komaï Esport. I know that Narami did go down in that team fight, but they made the perfect decision. They actually take the Zoroark and Comfey out of that equation, just rotate up to the top path. It's fine if you knock me out, as long as Zante and Leorio have the room to work.
4v2, Luminosity have vision, and that means that they know they can potentially pressure Megu. Sorry, I'm so used to the conversation. Kranix on this top path, of course. Kranix feels all right, though, knowing that Komaï Esport going for the big push on bottom path. Home court disadvantage, apparently Luminosity Gaming with Overlord and Slash. They have a win rate outside of America with 100%, inside the American events of 0%. But quite frankly, stats, as interesting as they are, Zoinks, they do not matter once we're on to Thea Sky Ruins.
All right, I think they matter, but anyway, Red Shield going to be focused down next. Overlord going to be the first one to strike. Only Gecko Kami here at the moment, but Zante and Leorio are definitely within range, but the burn damage is just so quick with that Zoroark and Urshifu, and they're going to be taking down Zante as well. Mid-Mega Evolution, Slash Can paves the way, as this gold zone is going to start to get hit pretty heavy.
Sweet secure another mean look onto Urshifu, manages to get out of there. Of course, the water bear explosions on the T1. Unfortunately for Komaï, not great for them.
Yeah, Leorio has a really good push in with Zero Aura, gets a big, like, maximum value discharge hitting multiple people, but unfortunately they just don't have a level lead at the moment. In fact, they're trailing behind quite a bit from Zoroark, almost a full level and a half behind Overlord right now, which in these team fights is so difficult when you're playing these speedsters. A level lead can translate into some really scary snowball situations.
Curious for Luminosity Gaming, Slash Can letting the Regieleki run into the zone. I say letting it run, we weren't privy to what exactly happened up there, but it does mean that Komaï at least has a store. Wow. You know what? I gave the production their fair dues. I take it back. That's no, it's fine. Listen, I love hat stats and I apologize. I will eat humble pie. I will be delighted if Komaï can make this work. Sovereign Sword into the pressure, into the push, discharge down. Looking at the backline, Citrus Berry eaten, but between the Comfey and the Cider, locked in the mean look gel. That's an amazing quadruple stun, but still the scores go down. Zone broken, still 70 points behind, but a much needed W for Komaï.
Yeah, not a huge break. Honestly, that's one of those moments you could have considered trying to rally back and maybe get someone with larger Aeos energy, but either way, you had a lot of space cleared. Slash Can using the Sai just to kind of protect their life for a moment, but it didn't translate into defending that goal zone at all, but at least Komaï Esport not scoring a ton on Luminosity Gaming. They did still keep a hold of the Comfey Unite move, though. They held on to, they used one support Unite move, but they still have another for this team fight that could be a super important if Overlord ever gets caught into a dangerous spot.
Oh, they're looking to bring the danger to Narami, my word. Look at the lack of a health bar. Trying to chase them away here. Zante providing pressure, but the Electro Drift into the back line means that Leorio ain't going to be taking any further part in this conversation. Cotton Cloud Crash goes up, comes down, but Luminosity Gaming are on a roll. They separate this squad. They splinter this squad. Infinite Cyburn will prevent a couple of these scores, but Zante may be asking a little too many questions for Luminosity. Luminosity's liking. It's a double 2 KO streak for these two Luminosity lads. 2-2-1 to 94, but don't count out Komaï just yet, Zoinks.
Well, I mean, it's tough right now for them. Trainer was at their Zatu spawn in that last team fight. I mean, he is going to be rotating up to try to take down that Reggie-Alecki, as Overlord and Otter are going to make quick work of that Registeel. Leorio caught out yet again. This Sarah Aura being behind on levels is making it honestly a huge hindrance to Komaï Esport actually having a big push in this game. Narami goes down again. Honestly, at this point, you're not giving up very much experience, but you won't be there to defend this goal zone.
Yeah, quite frankly, as the central area player, to be behind both of your path ADCs is very much cause for concern. Double digits across the board, so it's not like they are significantly behind as a team, but Luminosity Gaming free reign on this orange side of Thea Sky Ruins.
Luminosity Gaming holding all of the momentum as well as an advantage in basically any facet that you can think of. Komaï Esport's win conditions have certainly shrank to a short few, but you're right, there is options for this team to rally back. First and foremost, a knockout onto either most likely Curios or Trainer would be so big. Slashcan is trapped within that mean look that will be a quick knockout, but it's not a high EXP target. Those are the VIPs that you're looking for. If you can catch one of those Pokemon out, all of a sudden you're back.
A little bit of administration on this top path then for Komaï, ensuring that this Reggie-Alecki does not hit zone. Looking towards this final minute, going into Ray. A lot of responsibility on the shoulders of Gecko Kami, as if he doesn't have enough already, Zoinks. That mean look could be the difference between Luminosity Gaming winning and losing this Ray fight. Identify who's got the comfey, lock them down, and hope, pray that they can find some sort of KO in the mix.
It's such a tough one though. Both a Trainer and Overlord have opportunities to cleanse the mean look. One with Illusion, two with Wicked Blow, and knowing the skill caliber of those players, you think it might be kind of consistent. Curios might be the safe bet, but it might not be the most effective bet. So some tough decisions coming up for our defender player on Komaï Esport.
There's a lot of noise out there in the crowd. Komaï might need a little bit more than that. Just mere seconds to go, and Luminosity Gaming is already in position, covering both paths. You've got that Psyduck going bottom. You've got Urshifu providing vision. They will know what's on the horizon. They decide to rotate out Trainer. Leorio moving in as well. All five within the space of each other, and I think Luminosity Gaming sense the advantage. They sense the idea, and they're going to put it into action without even a hesitation. Gecko Kami is eliminated. Got the Plasma Gale though, and there's the first KO on the board for Leorio, and the second, it's the ADC carry. The support network has been ripped out of the Luminosity Gaming squad. Psyduck falls too, but a 2 KO streak here for Trainer. Miraidon forced to Electro Drift out of there, round the corner, back to the Pokemon Center. Komaï Esport, Kranix trying to find this final KO to at least bring him down to 1. Trainer, oh, they're so close, and they do get it indeed, but have they gone too deep now? Massive counter here from Curios.
I honestly think that's worth it. You have to take out Trainer. That is the main secure opportunity for Luminosity Gaming. Now you have the chance to honestly get really aggressive around the Rayquaza, because that is becoming your only win condition with this point situation, Relic.
Again, a little bit too upfield for my liking, but there's another KO, and another one, and another one. Komaï Esport, Leorio, oh, they've had a tough game so far, but now they're starting to rip and roar. Gecko Kami once again caught out in that Electro Drift, will finish the job. Komaï going for the rip. They kind of have to at this point. Not many seconds left, and they will find the Rayquaza. Do they have the point? 50, 50, I see 35. That's enough to work with, but do they have the shields now? 35 top up Asante. They're gonna get, oh my word, how on earth did they get away with that? And here comes the Hundo, of course going through the shield, the true damage. They're trying, they aren't able to score it. They aren't able to score it on the bottom path. What's happening down there? Oh my goodness, I think they've not done it. Oh wow.
Luminosity Gaming having a picture-perfect defense, all hands on deck to defend that bottom path, because Trainer can hold down solo on that top side. Urshifu able to hit Pokemon beneath any kind of shielding, including that Rayquaza, will allow them to put up a defensive barrier. 34 points in from Gecko Kami on that Umbreon, but I simply do not think it is enough to take this game. Luminosity Gaming, after a very scary team fight situation, still walk away with a 1-0 advantage. Headed into game 2.
Still 2 more game wins to find for Luminosity. It is not over yet. Slowbro ban immediately. Komaï respond. Interesting Komaï with that second pick, by the way. Looking for the counter picks. Aegis Slash for Luminosity Gaming.
Okay.
interesting. Means that Inteleon is available unless they choose to ban it with this final choice. Rotating through the attackers, it looks like, and eventually landing on the option that I think they were going to go for in any case.
Not going to lean into the Urshifu ban, which I was thinking potentially Komaï Esport might think about. However, Trainer likely just going to first pick a Leafeon or a Mimikyu in that situation. First pick Leafeon or late pick Mimikyu rather. But instead, going to be first picking that Urshifu. It worked fantastic in that game number 1. Wicked Blow, such an important part of this LG strategy.
Zante really sticking with this Mewtwo Y.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if that's what they feel is the best choice, then I mean, look, I'm not going to be here to disagree. If they find a W with it, then I think all down to shut up anyway. Psyduck to combo with that. It does leave the Comfey potentially open for this third pick on Otter. They choose to prioritize the Umbreon and the Miraidon instead.
Wow, okay. I mean, Luminosity Gaming getting an extremely powerful draft, having the Umbreon as well as Curious getting a repeat chance on this Miraidon, which looked so phenomenal in that game number 1. Kranix currently with the hover of Metagross, but Leario currently with the hover of Charizard right now. We're going to fast swap probably Gecko Kami picking up the Snorlax.
Yeah, Leario was always going to be last pick, weren't they? It's just
it had to happen.
Choice, isn't it, as to what they feel will deal best. I mean, again, the Zeraora, not an awful pick. I think it's just a great credit to Luminosity that they were able to shut it down so effectively. Looking at this, Otter on the Mew, support Mew of course, and Mimikyu for Overlord. So no run back then of the Zoroark Comfey, but I honestly quite like it. Proactive from Luminosity, because Komaï would have surely seen it coming anyway.
Yeah, it is interesting to still leave it though. You know, after it had such an impressive performance, obviously Kranix is going to have the big difference maker on the Metagross, so maybe Overlord just really not liking that matchup, specifically in the early game. Leario is going to go to a much more traditional pick with a 30% pick rate on the Blaziken, and they've also looked absolutely phenomenal on that Pokemon in games past, so I don't think anybody too upset about that selection. One thing I think I would be really excited on the Komaï side though is this Psyduck being locked in for them.
I could not agree more. I think just in general, they quite enjoy the opportunity to get a little more crowd control in, especially if you're going to set up for the overheat. I think that's, I mean, look, it is a fantastic move for a lot of different occasions. Obviously, the objective secure is one of them, but if they're able to catch Luminosity Gaming, a couple of them with even one singular stun, and that overheat, if not finding KOs, will almost certainly force a retreat back onto pad. Even if you're just buying yourself space to rotate Zoinks, those small gains do add up over time.
Yeah, and stuns of which they have many, right? Of course, Mewtwo Y going to be able to apply a few of those with the knockup of Psystrike, Psyduck having absolutely every stun you could possibly think of in the book, and then Gecko Kami, just such a powerful Snorlax player. You actually see an item swap on that player is going to be swapping over to the Assault Vest. So reducing the damage from Mew a little bit, but primarily going to be focusing on reducing the impact of Curios's Miraidon on the Snorlax.
Yeah, what are we running here? Special attack specs, Incense and the Slicked Spoon. Especially given that you're running into a Psyduck and a Snorlax, I wouldn't lean towards the Electro Drift if I was Kyrios. Maybe they are confident enough to try and pull it off anyway, and let's be fair, they do have now one game in pocket, so they can afford to take the risks like that. But heading into game 2, they also know that any risks that don't pay off immediately invites Komaï back in, basically resetting this to a best of 3.
Whew, yeah, a dangerous spot to be in. Most important stat of the day. Going to our final set of the games today. The total hat count so far is 228.
Thank you, production. Love you guys, much appreciated.
Jeez, Gek with some early attacks, actually saving this boosted auto to try to chase down, and they will get the KO. Love that patience, making sure that the cooldowns are up for the tackle as well to ensure the knockout onto Kyrios.
Just felt like that half second where Miraidon's turning might have actually made a difference in getting back to base and not giving over free EXP to Komaï. We've got this Combusken joining the effort on bottom path. Waiting patiently, Slashcan on this Umbreon. Huge Blaze Kick means that Kyrios is again way out of position. Nothing that Eevee can do, and it's another KO. Gek rolling with it.
Wow, yeah, 2 knockouts for Kyrios already, or sorry, rather onto Kyrios already. A player I'm normally praising actually for how few times that happens to them. It's actually great aggressive play from Komaï, but Luminosity Gaming is always going to be matching that like for like with a big push here on the top side.
Yeah, 3v2 wasn't always going to work, was it? Looking to get those scores, 20 in, followed by, a denial on the 18 and a denial for Otter. Some phenomenal solo work here from Narami, who almost finds the KO onto Otter themselves.
Impressive stuff. Otter is going to be making it back to that goal zone. And interesting to note, both these teams actually really relying on so much crowd control rather than really any form of healing. We might see the Wish Umbreon come on to Slashcan, but we've not seen any scores from that Umbreon in particular. So the attack weight's certainly not stacked up too high as of yet. Healing number is going to be rather low.
Going past, finding the foul play onto Gecko Kami. Lots of plenty charge, beam damage, and the KO close, ultimately onto the Blaziken in the end. How about that for a gyro spin, though? Kranix takes down the Urshifu and the Mimikyu for the price of 2 for 1. Oh, big block by Slashcan to meet out that Mewtwo strike. And just giving a bit of cover here, Gecko Kami. They're not going to be able to get this in DD, but a 30 score on top path for Kranix extends the slender Komaï lead.
And just scales this Pokemon even higher. I mean, Metagross, what a late game titan it can become. And with 2 knockouts in that middle moment around 8 minutes, as well as a 30-point score, this Pokemon is going to be huge rather early.
They miss out on the Blaze Kick, but they are going to pick up the overheat. Leorio going after Kyrios, and there's the boost again! And Miraidon maybe should have stayed on pad. Maybe again the shielding could have been the difference. Heavy slam coverage, scores 10 from the Blaziken, up to 91 now. First set of Reggies on the way, and Komaï set up very nicely. Mega onto the Mewtwo Y, popping the X attack, looking to burn it down. Luminosity Gaming not responding quickly enough. In fact, they've got so much manpower here, Komaï, that they're able to send that Mewtwo Y Zante to deny a score from Slashcan. I think they were able to get it off anyway. A little bit of a switch of change here. No overheat, but I tell you what, Urshifu is going to work. Overlord looking to try and find Leorio now. Back onto pad. Got a couple of citrus berries to work with. Again, 3v2, but they can't oversell themselves.
It's such a huge KO for Overlord to start things off with, but great response from Leorio. Slashcan likely going to be falling here, and without getting a second attack weight stack.
Level 9, but 3v1. This would be one of the greatest individual efforts from an individual player, but there's the block. Gecko Kami, no mercy. 18 points into a 40-point dunk. Very nice indeed. Komaï Esports almost 100 to the good. And on this top path, well, Kranix was holding station for an awfully long time. Finally taken down. This Mimikyu going after the Regieleki. Komaï have rotated quickly enough to go and contest here. There's Narami pulling that Mimikyu back towards them. Slashcan going for a small score. The Sai and the overheat. Komaï starting to string together some really successful intervals.
Every single objective going in their favor. I mean, they have the early positioning battle won, and of course they have this level lead, which means any skirmish or team fight is always going to favor Komaï Esport at this time. Luminosity Gaming is having to play extremely passive. It is so shocking to see a team like that play, but of course, now they want to change it up.
Mystical Mirage into the backline, but again, Leorio finds joy. And there's Gecko Kami as well. They're putting a lot of manpower behind this push. They want to see that T1 zone gone. The Midnight Prance, big foul play. Thunder very much focused on Kranix. Ooh, the chip and gets away. There was no shielding to be picked up from the Gyro Ball. Didn't need it. But there's no rest for the Wicked Zeus, because look what's coming on the bottom path.
Yeah, I mean, that is the one weakness of these non-healer compositions, right? If you go so aggressive, you don't get the KOs, and you're at that low HP, you simply have to retreat. You have no other option. No one else can keep you up. Slashcan gets yet another stack. Very important for this Umbreon. Does not matter they go down in this situation, because Trainer's got the secure.
Got the power nap to get a knock up, and Mimikyu won't last long. 2 KO streak for Zante. Really starting to put some words into my mouth, and they are very positive indeed. But Overlord still looking strong here. Level 11. Make that back to the Pokemon Center for you. Leorio level 13. That's the first time I've glanced at that. And if I'm Luminosity Gaming, I'm looking away in horror.
And I talked about it a lot of times in that last game about what Komaï Esports' chances for winning this game could have been based on what their win conditions are, and it's taking down those VIP targets. That is something that Komaï Esport has been doing extremely well in this game number 2, particularly Leorio. It feels like they are absolutely hunting down Overlord in these situations, and it's looking great. Luminosity Gaming, on the other hand, held to only 43 points. It feels like forever since we've seen a situation like that.
Gotta say, that's gorgeous pressure from Zante to enable Leorio to score the 50-4-3 on top path. Actually, they feel they've got so much time, they're gonna go for the reset onto bottom path, Infinite Cyburn. Slashcan, basically at the mercy of Gecko Kami here. Trainer, though, still lurking, will find the KO, actually gonna go over to Slashcan. They themselves gonna fall into the eject button overheat, switching stances, Compute and Crush from Kranix. That's a 2 KO streak now for Leorio, going for the chase there with the Zen headbutt. Little surf, but that's not gonna save the Mew for now, and running back with tail between their legs, the Miraidon to the T2. Komaï Esport restricting Luminosity, who have only just hit triple digits.
And this is a weird situation to say this in, but I feel like Luminosity Gaming kind of did their job in that team fight in losing well.
Basically,
they fought that fight for as long as they possibly could, kind of losing one target at a time. Even saw Trainer kind of going back in, all because Overlord had about 40 or potentially 50 points trying to go inside that top tier 1. So they're buying time. They know they've already lost that fight, but the more you can extend it, it's going to give the chance for Luminosity Gaming to have a little bit more macro impact and try to inch their way back into this game.
Very critical fight here on T1. All of Luminosity Gaming, you could throw a blanket over them, desperate to go and get that Reggie steal. But I tell you what, that Reggie Alecki is going to hit the T2. Komaï Esport looking for the knockouts more crucially, and once again, Otter isolated, trying to run away here. Slashcan, the focus blast, trying to find any slows, any sort of hindrances. Heavy slam again, just trying to confirm that Luminosity will be retreating fully to their T2. I believe there has been a score via Kranix, 118 to 280 now. Just missed seconds before Rayquaza, but Luminosity facing up to a tough task ahead.
EU with the score lead against this North American squad, and we're going to start things off. Leorio played so aggressive and gets shut down by Trainer immediately.
An extraordinary mistake that could cost them dearly. There's the Midnight Prance, takes away a lot of the shielding. The Sai trying to buy themselves a bit of space. Luminosity Gaming potentially going for the opportunistic rip. Infinite Cyburn will actually take Otter out of the equation. Here comes Narami and Gek. Here's the Metagross lurking as well. The Gyro Ball pretty decent secure in its own right. Look, Luminosity Gaming hesitating. A miss with the Shadow Sneak. Perhaps the pressure going to them over the wall. It's going to be Slashcan going after Kranix. Back into the center. Still, slowly but surely, the Luminosity Gaming continue to roll on.
Unreal from Luminosity Gaming. Yes, the race secure is there. I want to give every flowers I possibly can to Slashcan on that one. The only way that Kranix had any path into that Rayquaza pit was with a Zen headbutt. Otherwise, they had to go all the way around. You can body block that aimed attack. Slash stays in between them and the Rayquaza the entire time, absorbs any shot that they had a chance to make it into the Ray, and complete block. What a big brain play from LG.
Okay, all 5 players back, and Luminosity Gaming will be without Otter. 466 to 280. Not over yet. Slashcan was considering going for a back cap on this bottom path, though. You see Overlord with shielding. You see the Mimikyu with shielding, and the Miraidon too. It's the Hail Mary from Komaï Esport. They have to find a KO. They won't. Play rough, Trainer. They do get a score down, but the 42 counter score further extends the Luminosity lead.
Backline artillery gone for both these squads. Mewtwo Y and Miraidon. KO. Trainer also down. The Mimikyu falls. Komaï Esport's going to get in a few small ones, but they still need over 200 points. Metagross Unite move is up and running. Compute and Crash trying to slow them down. Gek takes the opportunity to score, but they simply cannot. Luminosity Gaming extends this defense.
Slashcan, it's press the same button. Wish, 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 wish. But you know what? When you do wish upon a star, sometimes it grants you zoinks. They're going to go to that top path, and they're not going to find much joy either. Komaï Esport shut down for the 2nd time in a row. Luminosity Gaming 1 away.
What a heartbreaker of a game 2 from Komaï Esport. Obviously a really tough overextension. Luminosity Gaming will not let that chance slip them by, and they go from that like a domino effect throughout the rest of that final fight. As we head into game 3, Komaï Esport for the first time in first pick position.
They were hovering that Shifu, weren't they? A little bit of a rotation, bit of a thought. Psyduck off the table. Luminosity sticking strong with that slow bro. They have learned their lesson.
Yeah.
This tournament, they are not going to deal with that again.
It's such a great call out to Gek on an amazing slow bro, but it's also like Trainer and Overlord do not want to see that Pokemon, but hey, they won't get to see the Urshifu this time. Komaï Esport are going to lean into it. This means Inteleon is available, but so is Umbreon. So where do we go with our first pick for Komaï?
I mean, look, you you've got to have a game changer, and I'm sorry, but you need Zante on that Inteleon. It's been a long while since we have seen it today because it's been banned so much because they want to get him out of the game, but that's his comfort pick. He looked sensational on the one game that he did have. Solid. Give yourself the best tools available, lads, but Slash, speaking of best tools, he gets his pocket pick with the Blissey.
I really wonder if we see an Umbreon pick ever, but no, Overlord really wants that Blaziken pick, so a bit of a skill check over to the other side of Komaï Esport, as well as having such a power pick in the Blissey. I feel like you're kind of forcing Komaï's hand to pick this Umbreon. Yep. At this point, it's just too clear of an answer into the Blissey. Let's see where else Komaï wants to go.
With no Psyduck, you either go support Umbreon or you go Eldegoss. There's not many options outside of that. Narami, they do know this Pokemon very well. Don't think that's a bad shout whatsoever. Yeah. Trainer so quick to lock in the Mimikyu on the other side. That is going to be the danger target that Zante will have to look out for, and Otter seems like they're going to lean once again to that support Mew, which they play to excellent effect.
It's interesting to see Komaï with such heavy carry players like Leorio and Kranix that we haven't seen a Comfey Zoro or something like that out of this roster yet, but so far that has not been the case. Leorio is going to go back to Comfort and pick that Zeraora again. This time it won't have to contend with the Zoroark Comfey, and Kranix is going to go with an absolute superstar pick as they had earlier in the tournament on that Buzzwole.
Oh, the Kyrios lining up the Gyarados. That's a bold choice. They do the quick switch though over to the Metagross. Okay. I do prefer this personally, Zoinks. It does at least ensure that with that Beldum, you do get a little bit of top path pressure. If of course they're not going central, but with Overlord on the Blaziken, I feel like that choice is clear. For the late game, they've got that bit of crowd control once Compute and Crash is online, and unfortunately there's no real true damage here for Komaï Esports. They're looking to eat up that discharge, especially from Leorio.
Yeah, I really think we are looking at an eggs build of the Blissey as well, and oftentimes when it's Slash picking up that Pokemon, that is where we go. You can see here Otter kind of giving some commands to the squad. The draft is done, and now it's time to focus up on how we're going to execute on those game plans. Love to see that, but when we do have this healing Blissey, Metagross is actually one of my favorite combinations for it. That big Compute and Crash as an engage is amazing, but sometimes you need the best backup in the game, and that is of course that Bliss Assistance.
But I gotta say, in terms of backup, I love this Buzzwole pick. I think that Kranix with that superpower can really make a difference for this squad. Again, looking to just try and feed not even just Leorio, but set up those snipe shots so you make the job so much easier for Zante. But I feel like, whereas before, I think Komaï could have suffered with a poorer opening game and then work their way back into it through the late game, as we saw was the case in game 1. I think once Luminosity get that sniff of we're ahead in a game 3 where that's match point, they ain't gonna let up.
It's blood in the water sometimes, and Komaï Esport cannot allow that to happen. All right, London, let us hear you. We're going into game 3. Komaï Esport on your purple team, Luminosity Gaming on your orange team.
The last hope for EU, an EU squad that has not won a single international event. Same cannot be said for Luminosity Gaming. They are here before. Komaï Esport with the highest damage dealt, by the way, by a single Pokemon. That was 171,000 on a Venusaur that we do not see here. But Zoinks, I think the draft is plenty good enough. And how about this? An invade from Narami, putting great pressure onto Trainer, disrupting this early phase. Bold? Yeah, I love it though.
If I'm gonna be frank, I don't care if Narami gets a single wild Pokemon in this adventure. It is showing that Komaï Esport have not backed down from this position. They are down 2-0 in a best of 5 with a chance to make it into Championship Sunday, and we're invading one of the best teams in the entire globe. Komaï Esport, they still got confidence.
What's the worst that's gonna happen? You lose? Well, it's a 50-50 at this point, and then you've got to flip that coin again. It's a 3-trainer rotate with Trainer at the middle of it. Kranix slowed. Will they get back to T1? No, they will not. That Razor Claw vicious, and an early Evo as well onto the Combusken, mean the Luminosity Gaming claim the first scores and indeed the first KO.
Yeah, Razor Claw and the red buff from the Mimikyu, so tough to escape from. Even you saw the Buzzwole, an entirely full muscle gauge, normally kind of a go button for them to try to turn a situation into a bad one, into a good one, which we've seen Krenix pull off before, but in that early game, not at level 5 yet, is not an executable they have.
1v2 on that top path, but it's not like the Combusken and the Mew will continue to put pressure on without the support of a third, especially when we have to look to this central area now and the first set of birds. Zante already up to Inteleon, rapid pace. Definitely tells me that it's been a different story on this bottom part. The snipe shot, not going to save Kranix, but here goes the discharge, and Luminosity Gaming runs for the hills, and it's a good job they did, Zoinks. No KO suffered.
That could have been one of the difference makers of this entire match. In fact, Liario also extremely hurt, but a really good long-range Volt Switch retreat helps them get out of there. Zante picking up a nice long-range KO onto that Mew, and that is one piece of evidence we've seen from a lot of our matches today. Inteleon's taking out the support line before we start these fights has been so good.
The first he will hope of many, and there's another shot onto Slashcan, looking to rip open this support network. There's the superpower, and Trainer didn't know anything about it. Score on the bottom path too, another stack for this Umbreon. In goes to 15, looking to try and dunk the 30. They're going to get that off, and 19, Luminosity Gaming vacate the premises.
Yeah, Krenix also only at level 6 when they get that, I think level 5 when they got the KO on a level 7 Mimikyu, so much experience raining back their way. All of a sudden the top path feels fantastic for Komaï Esports as they're going to start taking down the Regieleki and the Regirock as Luminosity Gaming is starting to join the party.
On the way, Liario's got one KO, but they will not be able to lay a finger on that Regirock. They do find a second KO as that's the Mew falling as well. It's another shot onto Slashcan, cannot catch a break. How about this though? On the top path, Regieleki taken. Blaziken eating a lot of damage as well. Oh, so close once again, Zante ripping into form.
Yeah, it felt like one of those moments where we the latent hitbox of Snipe Shot again, not on those in-person environments, I suppose. Big engage here by Gekko Kami trying to set up another Snipe Shot from Zante, but it's Overlord going 1v3 for a moment, but will be brought down by Liario for their hubris.
I am surprised that they did manage to get at least one out of that, considering how many they were diving into. 1-2-2 to 31. Surf into the Umbreon that kind of shrugs it off with the snarl. Kranix got to get out of there. My goodness, that's not a lot of health at all. Zante moving back into the tall grass. A chase from Gek onto Otter. There we go. Another setup. Another KO.
Jeez, this Inteleon from Zante, what a walking highlight reel it has been. Big Unite move from the Metagross. No full switch to get Liario out, but they don't need it. Just out-damage the Metagross. Simple.
Oh, it's so much better, isn't it, from Liario? Level 11 leading the lobby. I'm feeling bullish. How about this, though? Rotate onto the bottom part from Luminosity. Maybe looking to feed this Komaï squad into the hands of Trainer, who's just fresh off scoring a 40. Oh, once again, Overlord feeling a little too big for their boots, they feel. Liario picking up a KO for free. Another stack going towards Gekko Kami into the snarl, trying to find the stun, the miss from the snipe shot, Mystical Mirage. They find Otter in and amongst that and hit them again with the latent hitbox as you called out just a moment earlier.
Yeah, Overlord going in there, I mean, in the situation where maybe Bliss Assistance is available, that's the one that Overlord can walk away from, but going in 1v4 essentially with no backup, Slashcan, one measly soft-boiled for your Witcher, but in that situation, we just have to move along. We are headed into the basement Regi now as Regirock is spawned in. Luminosity Gaming taking the team fight first, though.
Oh, Liario isolated, and there's another miss from Zante. He can't afford a couple more of these. We're talking about those finer margins because he's been having a stellar game anyway. Big up from the switch up into the overheat, and that's going to be another Regirock for Luminosity Gaming, the compute and crush. Here's the Super Swole Slam eaten by the shielding of Kyrios. These are low health bars. Scary moment for Komaï Esport, forced into popping out the Azure Spy Vision. Another Shadow Sneak into the back line, and Trainer is ripping this team apart. There's a second one going over towards Kyrios. Back on the scene, Liario though, through the Volt Switch, finally puts an end to the madness.
That's such an important target to take down, but it's Overlord picking up a major KO as well. Liario takes two. Huge Unite move for the Plasma Gale. Now Krenix and Liario are going to be able to double score on this goal zone and shatter it. Komaï Esport with a huge team fight win and a quadra from Liario.
Team Ace. And that is huge amounts of breathing room for Komaï Esport, who are gifted those clouds in the central area for free and can find their way onto the top path at a canter without too much pressure. They've already taken down those T1 zones. The prep has been made, but again caught a little too far upfield. There's a discharge. I mean, they were doomed, but they still managed to pick off Otter for the price. Here we go, another Shadow Sneak onto Narami, but they are going to be in big trouble because Kranix is there for support. Bottom path, potential 43 score. Air on the just in the nick of time. It's going to be Gecko Kami with a denial, but in doing so, Zoinks, Komaï have given up the Regieleki.
Yeah, they did. I mean, unfortunate catch out onto Liario. They did steal away the red buff for a moment, then of course, exchange a knockout, but great capitalization by Trainer with that Mimikyu. Honestly, a long range Shadow Sneak to catch that Pokemon and then take them down. We're going to be reforming up here on the bottom side. And that Zero Aura is going to be intensively tanky now into this late game. The discharge, of course, running that weakness policy. But here we go, Overlord going in yet again.
Level 14 superpower, and I mean, Overlord again didn't have another snipe from the back line for Zante. Here I am thinking Luminosity Gaming 4v4. Oh, this should be a long one. It's over in the space of 30 seconds.
Crazy aggression from Komaï Esports, but they can be when you have an absolute walking cannon in that Inteleon in the backline, giving you all the backup you could ever need, not to mention Liario able to just survive for so long in these matches. Gotta watch out for a couple of the quiet carries for Luminosity Gaming though. Trainer at level 14 on the Mimikyu, level 13 for this Metagross. Curios and Trainer have been putting together some great team fights so far, but they're gonna need to carry it all the way to the end as Komaï Esports have a stronghold right now at 202 to 115.
All the great comebacks in this esport, they have to start somewhere. Is this that somewhere for Komaï Esport, who await Luminosity Gaming, the Shadow Sneak? Gecko Kami would have been very aware of what almost hit him. Speculative overheat from Overlord, and that is a hit from the Shadow Sneak. But surely going to be well aware that lying in wait, Komaï looking to pounce.
Yeah, you don't want to jump on that Pokemon, but it does give you information of where Gecko Kami is hiding. Watch Trainer's position on your mini-map, everybody. A huge rotation all the way around on the left-hand side. Curios trying to bait them in a little bit, gets a lot of damage onto the Zero Aura, but takes so much in return, but gets a Unite move off.
The Oreo with a discharge will finally take down the Metagross, and there goes the Blissey 2, Slash Can caught, 2 KO streak. Oh, what an unbelievable pickup there from Zante. There's no one left in town. It's a Quadra, it's just Trainer. Oh my word, that's an unbelievable steal, but they're gonna go down. Komaï Esport Zoinks, they still have the lead. That's crucial, and everybody is running for the hills to get any score.
Komaï Esport will likely be walking away with this game with a win. They gotta be real careful here. You cannot fall, but with that Inteleon snipe shot damage, Curios can't even be that bold. Now, we need to see Luminosity Gaming rally back if they want to take this 1 in 3, but right now, Komaï Esports are holding on to this defense.
That's the Metagross going down yet again. I love that proactiveness from Komaï, not fully retreating, not fully turning their backs. In fact, they're taking the fight to Luminosity again. We did it once, we can do it twice. It's another KO, but Overlord popping off, no, in the face of Zante. Zante the king, he wears his crown well, doesn't he? Oh, a slight miss on Trainer, but Leorio's feeling it. This series is not over, London. Komaï Esport stick their flag in the ground.
Leorio with 2 quadras in that match on Zero Aura, proving that pick, and London is off their feet for the hope of EU right now. Let's go back in the draft. Luminosity Gaming going to be taking that first pick yet again.
I hear you, Zoinks, I hear you. I don't think Narami necessarily the type of player to relinquish their individuality out on the field. They'd rather be playing that Eldegoss or that Psyduck rather than looking to support the Oreo, as much as that would be an incredibly natural selection. They're not going to get the Psyduck, most certainly. Again, Luminosity, what's the 4th time in a row we see that slow row ban, but Komaï sticking with the Shifu ban themselves. They're quite happy to try and counter what Luminosity pick, but that will not include an Inteleon as Curios rips it away from Zante.
Yeah, I mean, pretty easy read for Luminosity Gaming to make, right? That Zante Inteleon, not only in this match, but throughout the tournament, has been so phenomenal. Komaï Esport, though, very happy with a couple of power picks with the Umbreon and Blissey selections.
Yeah, they're hoping to sort of sucker Luminosity Gaming into forming protecting their front line, hoping that they maybe don't take away the Miraidon. I'm sure that Zante will be eyeing that up. Of course, we could run it back with the Blissey Mewtwo Y combo instead. Luminosity Gaming, again, leaning into stuff that they enjoy. Training with that Mimikyu, again, massive in game number 3. Slash going on to the Mamoswine, maybe providing a bit of a counter initiative to this potential Kranix Buzzwole.
Yeah, it'll just give them a bit more damage to try to slow them down. Ice Fang gonna, lock down individual melee Pokemon targets. Zante is gonna be on that Miraidon, and Kranix locking in the Garchomp.
Interesting. Looks like there's a little bit of a disagreement there amongst the ranks of Komaï Esport. Perhaps Kranix wasn't exactly encouraged to go and pick that Garchomp. I don't think it's a bad pick. I really don't, especially if they're able to inflate it much in the same way as Leorio did in game 1. But Otter will pick up the Comfey for the second time this series. They're going to join the Absol and the Mimikyu, rotate around there. Leorio, I mean, listen, the Blaziken I think would be a fine pick, the Metagross too, but actually they're going to lock in the Buzzwole. So maybe this is what the disagreement was about. Kranix onto the Buzzwole and Leorio going with the Garchomp. I'm sure they'll do a great job, but I haven't seen, again, a player who plays a lot. I've not seen much of their Garchomp. I think I've got to be honest on that one.
Yeah, that's interesting. The opposite is true, though, with Leorio. I've gotten the chance to see so many Buzzwole games from this player. When it was truly the top of the meta, I think they were one of the best, if not easily the best in EU on this Pokemon.
Yeah.
So tough contest in this region, by the way, with, Gatlu and Potato running around. But I do think that Leorio is an extremely strong Buzzwole. It's going to be a fun matchup into this Absol. In that mid to late game, you might have more answers. Early game going to be really challenging. I think last time we saw the Buzzwole have a little bit of tough time getting into level 5. We might see that again.
You know what? Feels like that's the way they're going to go as well. I think that there is still, in my mind, the idea that you've got Leorio. He is your central area player.
Yeah.
And so I think certainly trying to get inside the head of Leorio here, it's a little bit scary, handing off that responsibility over to Kranix. But look, I love you both. Kranix has shown time and time again this tournament, let alone back in February. They've got the stuff. They've got that X factor. And if you're going to hand it over to anyone, the reins, might as well be him.
Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced I know who's heading into the central area at the moment.
Buzzwole?
I mean, maybe not, but maybe Miraidon and Buzzwole would split either side, or maybe Miraidon and Garchomp could split. This is an interesting spot because Garchomp does have a pretty solid early pathing phase, and, well, Buzzwole getting to level 5 would be pretty huge for Komaï. I don't know where exactly we go. Traditional, and on paper it does say, though, Buzzwole should be heading towards that top path. We'll have our information right now as we head into game number 4 of our semifinal.
Time to throw the theory into the shredder. It will be a lone Buzzwole central area. Going to that top path will be the Chansey, joined by the Gibble. As you rightly say, Zoinks, a very successful early phase. The Slow Smoke, though, will deny any sort of opportunity to deny Overlord. Sand Attack goes down. They're going to pick up the 6 here, and they might get the KO at that as well.
Kranix with some early aggression, actually 2 knockouts. So, what was I saying about that Gibble early game pathing phase? Absolutely crushing it right now. Gibble, the ankle biter, going to be succeeding today as Absol and the Comfey go down. Mimikyu sees the writing on the wall, heads toward the bottom path for the gank.
They're just a little guy, Zoinks. They're just a little guy, but they've got a lot of bite to give. And Gabite not too far away, actually. In fact, they have already evolved as I say what I'm saying. Komaï Esport now looking towards the 4-person rotate, 5-person rotate, actually. I forget that Overlord running with that comfort. Komaï Esport don't really know what to do. 5v2, there's absolutely no chance that they defend this. And Evo wanted a Drizzile for Kyrios as joining the party. We've got Narami, a couple of freezes on Tigek and Narami, and all the clouds are going to be swept up by Luminosity, giving over the clouds, of course, to Leorio, who's moved up into that top half, but peek where Kranix is, who's taken the call to move central area, I believe stealing away both buffs from the purple side.
Yeah, so far Kyrios has only stolen 1 buff from the orange side. Only the blue buff, as these teams have decided to trade Leorio with a very aggressive eject button combo to try to take down the Drizzile. Slash Cannon going to be there for the defense, making sure that their damage carry doesn't get knocked out.
Another quick rotate central area where we're looking for another set of clouds, and I'm afraid that Otter and Kyrios, they won't get much joy here. A KO onto that Absol will open up the bottom path potentially for Komaï Esport, who rotate mean look, score for the Miraidon, eject button away for Gekko Kami, but the Ice Fang catches Zante, who won't be around to see another couple of seconds. They're going to respawn back at base, 58 to 81, level lead for Leorio.
Yeah, Zante, one of those players that does like to play these stacking specs on the Miraidon, so trying to get some early moments to get in some small scores and, of course, increase your special attack by a percentile. Top path push, looking for Luminosity Gaming, whereas Kranix has not yet evolved to that level 9 stage of Garchomp. Slashcan finds them immediately.
Big Ice Fang, and there's the Shadow Claw to finish the job, the Shadow Sneak, and then another Shadow Claw to finish the job. It's the go sign, it's the green light for Komaï Esport, who head onto that T1 zone looking to crack it for themselves. 50 points scored, top path. Luminosity Gaming take the lead. How much on this bottom path? 31, take the lead themselves, looking for a 27, and they score it. The lone Inteleon, simply not enough. Good overdunk potential, but Komaï's got bigger fish to fry. The first Reggie's on site.
Oh, nice shot from Kyrios, gonna take out the Gekko Kami. Slashcan trying to buy a little bit of time. Leorio trying to fight, but they have the backup of Zante, which will give him a huge advantage.
Right now, it's basically the Buzzwole playing body blocker, but they catch that Kyrios Inteleon out, and they get a free stack as well. Going after the Reggie Steal still is Zante. They really don't want this health bar to reset. They're not going to have a second chance to talk about it, though. Absol, again, lurking in this enemy central area. Komaï might have to watch their own house, because in their kitchen, cooking, Luminosity Gaming, stealing away crucial EXP, and that feels like a massive opportunity spurned as the Reggie Steal reset back.
Yeah, it feels like we're watching two games happening at once entirely.
Yeah.
Like, these teams have never taken a full-on 5v5 team fight. Instead, just electing for these constant split pushes with 2 to 3 members at a time. And it's been Komaï Esport to try to kind of keep up with a lot of the KOs. It feels like they're getting the advantage there, but it's Luminosity Gaming that are holding on to these level and points.
Eject button into the mean look. That should be 2 KOs for the price of 1 an Egg Bomb as well. But somehow Overlord gets away. Again, navigating through the tall grass, but I'm afraid that the mean look cooldown is a little bit shorter than you need. Meanwhile, Leorio with a 2 KO streak onto the Absol, now moving down from that central area. Zante again looking at this T1 zone. A Shadow Sneak from the rafters for Komaï Esport reset.
Yeah, I'm somewhat shocked to not see Overlord use that Unite move when caught in that dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Potentially, maybe the knockout gave them the actual charge to have it online now. I'm not too sure. But either way, a really good push from Leorio on this Buzzwole, making a central area carry Buzzwole look fantastic. Not an easy task to do, but they're looking great right now.
Although they lead the lobby in levels with Leorio, albeit just with Trainer catching up to level 12. The level disparity a little more in favor of Luminosity. Level 9's looking close towards level 10's, an Earthquake, a mean look, a charge beam, and here's Leorio back into the tall grass, catches that Kyrios, and the Mamoswine falls, and here's the Bliss Assistance onto the back, into the ground, 7 points scored, and the T1 zone, no more shielding for you. Come play with me, says Trainer. How about I turn you into a lamppost, says Leorio. And hey, what's this? An Absol and a comfy crown? I fancy making mincemeat of you too. Look at this, bacon in the oven. And although Kyrios is back on site, they got a fell stinger away. So much EXP into the Komaï pool.
Leorio starts and finishes yet another fight for Komaï Esports. Really good engages. I mean, Luminosity Gaming is getting caught out by these eject button superpower combos so often. Kranix wants to get involved in the KO numbers as well. Reggie gonna fall. It looks like Komaï Esport gonna respect Luminosity Gaming enough to not try to push it into that tier 2. Instead, take a little bit of that free real estate and push for a basement, Reggie.
I mean, they want to objectively and unambiguously say, we now lead. We don't have to in points, but as long as we've got that win con set up for Ray, we're quite happy. Luminosity, they're not going to challenge this. Regice to Komaï Esports. Ooh, take a deep breath, lads, because it's looking good.
A well-needed buff towards Komaï Esports, giving them a little bit of a healing bonus, but most importantly, letting them catch up in experience on a couple of their Pokemon. Kranix will get to level 13 because of that added bonus. Miraidon going to be chasing it a little bit. Slashcan is going to find one target. Big snipe shot from Kyrios to back them up.
Right, Future Meteor Storm, hey, you might as well use it now. Of course, looking to build up those hits. The Azure Spy Vision popped as well. Kranix having to get out of there. Potential Bliss Assistance has been used already. already. Slashcan on how much health? Leorio choosing to go after this Inteleon, to be fair, and they do pick up the KO. It's 3 across the board as Komaï finding strength from so many different avenues.
Yeah, one of which being that crowd that is absolutely pumping them up right now. Luminosity Gaming has been in this situation before, but I don't know if they've been on one where Komaï is putting together such an incredible comeback in this series. Yes, they don't have that points lead right now, but a couple of exchanges going in their favor. Luminosity Gaming really aggressive into Komaï's enemy central area, but even with a nice Ice Fang initiation, Komaï still the ones to finish that fight.
They don't need the points lead if they're confident to take the fight to Luminosity once they hit Ray. Of course, Luminosity Gaming still got a few tricks up their sleeve. Positioning will be crucial in the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, Slashcan so far has been playing this Mamoswine as an extremely aggressive fight starter rather than a more defender-focused protect your Inteleon style strategy. I mean, kind of leaving Curios up to that on their own. They've been doing a decent job so far, but it's going to be really relying on Slashcan to start off a big fight. A target like Leorio or Kranix caught in that Ice Fang could be huge for LG.
Interesting push here from Slashcan on bottom path, and everybody quickly turns, but are they aware of what's happening in the top path? The 30 score extends the lead for Luminosity Gaming. Komaï Esport don't bite.
Yeah, we see Slashcan actually taking the long way home, just rotating through to see if maybe Komaï was attempting a bit of a back cap, but nothing so far, defending the entire entrance onto their Rayquaza pit. Currently still behind, though, by almost 100 points.
They catch the mean look, but they're not going to take down Slashcan on their own. A couple of snarls as well, got vision. Trainer lies in wait, though, waiting for that shadow sneak. Maybe a couple of pokes here, get going into a very, very precarious position. There's the big old debuff onto Gek. Of course, the damage multiplier extraordinary at this stage. Oh, I don't like this from Zante. Slashcan, there's the mean look. They surround that Mamoswine into the Mammoth Mash. Meanwhile, Komaï, they haven't looked at the Ray, but you know what? Zante don't care. Luminosity tried to steal the wind, but Komaï, with the astuteness to keep an eye on it nonetheless, are able to take the Ray. Still plenty of scores to be found. There's 74, balloons up to 357, and a Hunderburger on top of that. Be sure to enjoy yourselves, folks, because we've got 40 seconds now. Are we kind of playing for time a little bit here? Yeah, but we want to make sure that everything is official on the board.
Yeah.
But Komaï Esport, I think we can now safely say Zoinks has indeed secured that Game 5. That's 2 wins on the bounce. That's 2 wins without Luminosity finding a W on their column.
And I'm not going to say it. Like, I'm not going to say
Nobody's going to say anything, mate. Nobody's going to say it.
But they were at 2-0 and are about to be at 2-2, and the chance of the thing I'm not going to say is going to be up for Game 5. What an exciting time for the final EU team in our bracket.
Whatever you could say, Zoinks, I might also say it actually doesn't happen that often. Keep your voices loud, because Komaï Esports and Luminosity Gaming go into Game 5, and it is perhaps the bans that we were expecting, including an Inteleon ban from Luminosity. So potentially that Miraidon, all the more important, could be first pick. Komaï Esport, though, might offer an alternative. Rotating round, looking at the Umbreon, the Blissey, ultimately landing on the Psyduck. Rather scared of perhaps what Slashcan can do on the Duck.
Yeah, Luminosity Gaming now has to change their first pick. Where do they want to end up? It looks like it will, in fact, be that Blissey. So Slash was proven to be the best player in the world on this Pokemon. Gonna lock it in. Komaï Esports have the chance for Pokemon like Umbreon, like Hoopa, for one of the first times in this best of 5, have the chance to lock it in.
It's the Umbreon. Oh, Narami. You're thinking about it, aren't you? The Hooper available, but no hyperspace hole. Is that what you really want? You're relying on a good draft as well to synergize with the trick. Decides to, I believe, land on the Eldegoss. No, very late switch to the Aegislash for the first time this series.
Yeah, it's finally out of the banning phase from Luminosity Gaming. They're going to leave it on the table. Kranix gets to take one of the most meta-defining Pokemon at this tournament.
Yep.
Aegislash is going to be locked in. Miraidon taken up by Curios. They do have the chance for a few really powerful Pokemon, and Overlord going to return to the Blaziken.
That basically locks Zante into the Mewtwo Y. Narami will be sticking with the Eldegoss. Not particularly convinced by this from Komaï Esport. We'll see what Otter and Trainer can cook up. The opportunity for a Comfey Zoroark is there. The Leafeon instead, and Otter going to roll with the Mew. Leorio actually thinking, you know what, I quite like that Buzzwole game. Let's just run that back.
Honestly, if you have a game like that, that is easily something that you want to bring to the table. And hey, Kranix also had an amazing Buzzwole game.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
I don't think we're too upset about Buzzwole rotating positions. Leorio is the mainstay Aegislash player on Komaï Esport. I do like this draft quite a bit. I have to admit, I would love Narami to pick up the Hoopa again. It was so good in day one, but the way this set has been playing out, you're pretty hot on Eldegoss right now. I mean, you've won 2 games in a row against LG. Let's stick with what's working.
So we got that Mewtwo Y alongside that Eldegoss going top path. Umbreon Buzzwole bottom, Leorio central area. It's where he likes to roam. Looking at Luminosity Gaming. Trainer going central, perhaps. I would imagine maybe a split central area with Overlord looking to get that Blaziken online as soon as possible. We know that Kyrios, the option is there to go top or bottom path. We'll certainly see Slash going top path. So there's a few different routes that Luminosity Gaming can go down for this early game. For Komaï Esport, though, looking to the late game, and indeed Luminosity, 2 hyperscalers to worry about. Overlord versus Leorio. It's a battle of the Titans here at EUIC.
I cannot wait to see some of these 1v1s. It is going to be so exciting. There won't be any Comfey a part of the equation either. We're going to have to watch out for that hyper healing from the Eldegoss. And here we go. London still on their feet for this matchup. Got Komaï Esport, Luminosity Gaming. Can LG shake off the noise and close out this best of 5? Or is it going to rally back for Komaï Esport? Let's get into game 5.
Let me tell you, folks, my feet are hurting, but my spirits are so sky high. The final semi-final, a chance to play in the grand final. Luminosity purple, Komaï Esport orange, and our 2 protagonists are going to go different ways, actually, with Trainer central area, Overlord top path, Leorio central, and a big push early on from Luminosity, an early stack for Overlord.
All right, Overlord, yeah, getting in some early pressure can be tough to do against Buzzwole, but it does get significantly harder after that level 5, some early damage, and of course they're just going to rotate back because Trainer waiting in the wings.
Yeah, much quicker central area push, foregoing the buffs. Ooh. And you know what, I'd support that initiative as well, but no score here, and here comes the Doublade response, finding Trainer KO for the, not even the Doublade, but for the Gossifleur. That'll help them on their way to the Eldegoss, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. Who will win? Luminosity, one of the most successful teams in the world, versus Komaï Esport, who have yet to win a tournament title in this semifinal. It would give either team an opportunity for an EUIC championship win. Gecko Kami bubbling out to allow Zante to get as much damage in as they possibly can, and Otter off screen going to pick up a KO.
And as is going to be the case for Leorio, actually very interesting to see what the Umbreon build is. We see that foul play already, so maybe not going to go for the over-reliance on the mean look. It's a rotate from Trainer onto the southern path, looking to try and find the Razor Leafs on the Bunny. Big patience paid off for Gek, who's going to hit that level 5, forces Luminosity back to the zone.
All right, early rotation into the center for Trainer on this Leafeon. She's going to have an exchange, ships in the night passing alongside that Eldegoss, as all of Luminosity Gaming is playing towards the middle of this map. Leafeon and the Miraidon, the major carries that want to get as much experience as they can, but the Aegislash is going to be here to contest.
Oh, gorgeous foul play from Gecko Kami, who has been truly exceptional. One of the top 3 players this tournament, that is without doubt. And it's another KO to Leorio, already up onto the Aegislash, already up onto level 7. Same can be said for Overlord, of course, through the coaching of Otter Mew. They're going to find that level 7 pretty good. Big charge beam. Here's the push and the level up and the KO. Looking for more. Maybe the wide guard to come up. No, not in time. And how about this? Zante trying to find a way out of there. They're not going to score the 5. Trainer surely going to pick up a KO. No. Big snarl. Foul play. It's actually Slashcan who picks up the KO instead. Not good for Komaï. Slashcan with a double.
Leorio extremely aggressive in that situation. They do get 1 KO, but immediately punished. And Overlord seeing some success on the other side of the field. That could be dangerous for Komaï Esport as Luminosity Gaming. Every time they get an inch, it feels like they can change it alchemy-like into a mile.
Gecko Kami up to level 7 now. In with a foul
kilometer.
play, misses
My
everyone.
bad. Yep.
No, we take miles in the UK. You were right the first time. Don't worry, we'll roll with it. Zante, of course, providing a bit of vision. Registeel out of place. Could potentially reset and upset Luminosity Gaming here. 4 on bottom path for both sides. That Buzzwole on top path. Looking for a KO. Foul play. Here's that Overlord level 9. So scary. Of course, Zante looking to build up that gauge into the Mewtwo. Why still a long way away? And the coup de grace will not secure the Registeel. Goes over to the Miraidon, who unleashes the Bright Future Meteor Storm. To be fair, Trainer's gone down. Luorio with a pick. Now just don't bite off more than you can chew. Big wide guard, but uses the Sacred Sword to disengage. He said, Narami, what were you doing drifting around there? Overlord trying to throw their way through the melee, but actually they themselves will get caught out by Leorio.
Okay, making up for that past mistake when they went to the path, right? All of a sudden they gave it to kill or knock out that Blaziken is going to give them quite a bit more experience. Buzzwole worked towards that top path at 23 points in pocket, has not found a way to dump any of that into the tier 1 goal zone. Instead, now they're going to have to focus on that Regieleki, but until they're level 9, they have to play this so extremely patient.
Similar situation to game for those Zoinks. They will happily not take the points lead if they can grab the levels, but Kranix has been caught out big time yet again. Huge ADCs on top path, and Narami won't have a say. Leaving this zone perhaps for a later score. The 29 overdunk would be nice. Infinite Cyburn won't find any KOs, but from the tall grass launches Leorio. Slash was there, but unfortunately Otter goes down. Actually, it's Narami who picks up the KO for that one. Meanwhile, more scores for Luminosity, who now balloon up to 1-4-5. The overheat will run out. Narami, though, again, strays a little too close, but caught in between all the all-rounders. CC Central, the Bliss assistance will not save Blaziken. Kranix with that full passive powered up, looking to go after Slash, but the charge beam forces them away.
Otter being the best damage dealer on Luminosity Gaming in that last team fight, picking up a few KOs with that Electro Ball, and now makes it so that Kranix will not be able to escape. Electro Ball going to pick up that one as well. Curios not quite in position to take that knockout. Otter thought they had a chance to score 25. Will be the Mew Unite move to get them safely away from that scoring attempt.
But they have to burn it nonetheless. That is a tool that is not going to be at the disposal of Luminosity Gaming. Not many steal opportunities here for Komaï, who are going to prioritize bottom Reggie. And you know what? Why not? Because Komaï Esport, well, they were going to let this one run. The 6 goes down. So again, think back where the 29 points could have gone down from Trainer previously. They're going to get another 5 here, forcing Luminosity Komaï into the defense, because if this Regieleki hits T2, that's way more scores, and the knock-on effect, Komaï now can't commit to the bottom Reggie. Instead, going into a fight, big wide guard, Trainer falls, Kranix here as well, all damage dealers for Komaï Esport on hand.
Yeah, only Mew there to provide support to the Leafeon. No Blissey in sight, so the only one support not able to keep them up for long enough. Otter will also fall. Leorio going to be picking up yet another KO there. Registeel not able to be stolen away by Curios, and Komaï Esport get a big Registeel objective.
You can tell how big it was because Leorio wasted a coup de grace just to make absolutely 100% sure. Back to base, the Regieleki did end up hitting the T2, but there were so many KOs on that top path that Luminosity Gaming have only been able to extend their lead slightly. Komaï, of course, finding a lot of scores on the T1, 248 to 125 as we enter our final 3 minutes 20.
Yeah, I mean, really safe play from Komaï Esport right now. Aegislash taking all of that central area. Buzzwole cleaning up all the wild Pokemon on the top side of the map. The entire time you saw Gek Okami on that Umbreon, making sure that all of the vision was gained on their side. Otter doing the same for Luminosity Gaming, basically playing as a ward right now on the Mew in that tall grass, trying to see where Komaï is going to rotate to and how many players they're going to commit.
Massive Regieleki, isn't it? Massive Regieleki. Level 14 for Leorio. If they find a few more KOs, that could be 15 going into Ray. There is a scrap here near the bottom path, but they're not ready to full send Komaï Esport. The Thunder goes down, chases away this orange squad. A little bit of Razor Leaf down, but really nice rotate, timely rotate, as a lot of clouds, a lot of EXP goes towards the orange squad.
All right, Luminosity Gaming is going to see all of the enemy Pokemon from Komaï Esport and make a play towards this Regieleki. They burn it down extremely quickly. Leorio just arrives as the Regieleki is being secured, and it will be walking towards their tier 1. They do spend some time trying to KO it before it even gets within range, but that will be forfeiting any kind of positioning as Luminosity Gaming rotates into the middle of the map.
They have the score lead. They do not have have the level lead. That suits them, inviting Komaï onto what they consider most certainly their territory. Oh, that was a lunge from Kranix. Almost finds an incredible pick with the superpower. Pokes here and there. Leorio also eating a bit of damage. Really strong pressure here with the charge beam. Sort of size the Komaï squad into two different areas. The overheat whiffs, a little bit of pokes. Look at Otter on the back line. Leorio going to be keeping an eye on them, but they might need to keep an eye on Kranix here. Super Swole Slam. This is it for any squad to make their through to the grand final. Sorry, it's going to have to be now. The Bright Future Meteor Storm still looking for that first KO, and it will be onto Kranix. Where's Leorio? Here he is now, through to Otter, and they find that first KO. There's a second one onto Trainer. Off screen, it's 2 KOs, and they look to turn and burn. Watch out, the Blaziken still on that southern path. They don't have the rip ability here, Komaï, but they're going to go after the Blissey instead. That's a third KO for Leorio, who has hit that level 15. Kyrios going to the northern part of this Rayquaza. Charge beam, he's Overlord, and would you believe it? He's done it again!
Luminosity Gaming has stolen the Rayquaza, and over here within range, there will be 3 members of their team with Rayquaza shields. Komaï Esport all of a sudden on the back foot. They will not prevent Overlord's score as 100 points in for LG.
Overlord simply cannot be stopped, and Gecko Kami must be thinking, surely no, not again. Look at the overheat catching 3. He's still not gone down. Overlord 1v3 up against Kranix, a 2 KO streak, and look at Kranix running away in pure fear from this man.
Overlord with an unbelievable performance in this matchup, of specifically within this game number 5, still taking this 1v1 versus Buzzwole. As unfortunately the clock is ticking down, and the clock is a friend of Luminosity Gaming. Overlord standing, looking to the crowd, looking to their opposing team, as Luminosity Gaming have won yet another in-person event. Komaï Esport out, Luminosity Gaming go to Championship Sunday.
It's either going to be a repeat winner in season or a repeat winner from the season before. You could not set it up any better, folks.